All right, strap in, everybody. Let's take a deep dive into Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power.
Exciting stuff.
And specifically, we're looking at Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that phrase, what's in it for me? I feel like we've all heard that at some point.
Yeah, it's a classic.
This law is all about understanding that very human drive and how you can use that strategically.
Uh,
And we're going to be looking at all sorts of people,
okay.
from Galileo to Elon Musk, who have used this law to get help from others to achieve their goals.
Wow, that's quite a range.
Get ready, because this is going to change how you ask for help forever.
I'm excited. So this law, it's pretty interesting, right? It kind of challenges how we usually think about being humble and pleading for help.
Yeah.
You know, hat in hand, please help me. Instead, it's like, whoa, hold on. Flip the script. Look at it from their perspective.
Yeah, interesting.
By understanding what they want, their
Yeah.
self-interest, you can say, hey, here's how we can both benefit.
It almost makes you wonder, like when you see these really selfless acts of generosity, you're like, is there something more to this?
Right. You're like, wait a minute. Is there always some self-interest going on, even subconsciously?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Even with things that look totally altruistic,
Mm.
there's often some kind of motivation underneath.
Mm.
Maybe they want a better reputation or to, you know, strengthen a bond with someone.
Yeah.
Or just that good feeling you get when you help someone.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So let's say I'm trying to convince someone to collaborate with me on a project.
Yeah.
Am I just supposed to flat out tell them, hey, this is going to make you look awesome to the higher ups?
You could, but there's a way to do it that's a little smoother.
Okay.
It's not about being all forceful and tricky. More like you want to present it so it genuinely seems like this collaboration, lines up with what they want to.
Okay.
Like maybe they've been wanting to show off their skills in something specific, or they want to grow their network within the company. So you're not just asking, you're saying, hey, this helps you with your goals too.
I get it. So it's like finding that sweet spot where their goals and what I need kind of match up.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
That feels a lot more genuine, than just trying to butter them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To get a better idea, let's look at Galileo. Galilei.
Oh, yeah, Galileo.
He was obviously brilliant, but he also knew how to, play the self-interest game.
Now, he was the one who got in trouble with the church for his kind of radical ideas, right?
Yes, but before all that, he needed funding. He needed support for his research.
Right.
So he went straight to the Medici family.
Okay.
Now, the Medicis, they were the big players in Renaissance Italy. Not just rich, but they loved the arts and sciences. They wanted to be known for, supporting big discoveries.
Okay.
So I'm guessing Galileo didn't just go begging for money.
Yeah, what did he do?
He got clever.
Okay.
He had discovered the moons of Jupiter with his telescope, right? He named them the Medicean stars.
Oh, wow, that's smart. So he connected his scientific findings directly to the family. It's not just science, it's a Medici legacy.
Right. Something they could brag about, especially in those days.
Yeah, in competitive Renaissance Italy.
Totally. And you know what? It worked.
Really?
The Medicis were flattered. They saw the prestige this discovery brought them, and they became Galileo's patrons. Gave him the resources and protection he needed to keep going.
Wow.
It wasn't just a transaction, it was a strategic partnership.
Okay.
Both sides got something out of it.
So Galileo gets support, and the Medicis get to be known as the cool guys who support science.
You got it. Now that's a pretty high-level example, right?
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, this applies to us regular folks too.
Oh, okay.
Not just geniuses and historical figures. We're talking about everyday situations.
Okay.
Asking a friend for a favor, pitching a business idea, even asking for a raise.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So how do I actually use this in my everyday life? Let's say I need to ask my friend to help me move.
Okay.
Should I offer them pizza? Is that appealing to their self-interest?
While pizza's always good, it's a bit surface level.
Okay.
Think about what your friend really values.
Okay.
Maybe they love spending quality time with you.
Uh-huh.
So frame it as a chance to catch up while you work. Or maybe they love feeling helpful, like they're good at things.
Yeah.
You could say, I really need your specific skills to get this move done right. Like you rely on their expertise. So you're not focusing on the moving itself, but on how it fits with what they care about.
Yeah.
That feels a lot more real than some you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of deal.
Yeah, it does.
It's about understanding someone's why, what makes them tick.
Right.
Then you can turn something that might seem like a drag into something they actually want to do.
Okay, that's really interesting. Now let's switch gears a bit. Imagine I'm trying to pitch a business idea to a potential investor.
Okay.
How do I appeal to their self-interest? What are they looking for?
Well, investors, they're all about return on investment.
Right.
They want to see their money grow.
Right.
So don't just gush about how passionate you are.
Okay.
Show them the numbers, the market analysis, and how their investment can potentially make them a lot of money.
Okay.
You have to show them that your idea fits into what they already do, or that it fills a gap they've been noticing.
So instead of just focusing on my vision, I need to speak their language.
Yes, the language of profit and growth.
Profit and growth. But how do I do that without sounding, too slick or salesy?
That's where being genuine comes in.
Okay.
Don't make promises you can't keep. Don't exaggerate the potential returns.
Got it.
Focus on building a real connection, showing your expertise, and backing up your pitch with solid research and realistic projections.
Okay.
Investors can smell BS a mile away. Be real, be transparent.
Okay, so it all comes back to authenticity.
Yeah.
People can tell if you're being fake or trying to play them.
Exactly.
It needs to be a genuine win-win where we both benefit and we're both invested.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Now, are there any downsides to using this law?
Yeah, any traps I should watch out for?
Oh yeah, there are definitely some nuances to this. One big one is not actually getting what truly motivates the other person.
Okay.
It's easy to assume, but you have to really research and understand what makes them tick.
Yeah.
Don't just project your own motivations onto them.
Right, because people are complex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their reasons for doing things could be anything, from money to recognition to feeling like they're making a difference.
So I can't just think everyone wants the same things as me.
Right. And another trap is overpromising.
Okay.
Like saying things will be amazing and then not delivering. That wrecks your credibility.
Right, yeah, no one trusts someone who doesn't keep their word.
Exactly. It's always better to be honest about what you can offer.
So it seems like honesty is really important here.
Totally. People can sense when you're not being real or when you're trying to manipulate them.
Yeah.
It has to feel like a true win-win, where both sides are genuinely on board.
Okay, this is making me rethink how I interact with people both at work and personally. It's not about what can I get, but more like what can we achieve together.
Exactly. It's a mindset shift.
And it seems like we've covered a lot about the why and the how of appealing to self-interest. We've seen some pretty powerful examples too, from historical figures to everyday situations. But before we wrap this up, I want to dive into some more examples from politics and business. Are you ready for that?
Yeah. Let's see how this law plays out on a larger scale.
Let's start with Otto von Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor of Germany.
Okay.
Now, I remember him from history class, but how does he connect to this law?
Bismarck. He was a master strategist. He understood that getting other nations to do what he wanted was way easier if he appealed to their self-interest. Think about Europe in the 19th century.
Okay.
Alliances and rivalries everywhere.
Hmm.
Every nation wanted more power. Bismarck knew to get what he wanted, and he wanted to unify Germany. He had to play the game.
So instead of making demands or forcing his will, he found ways to show other nations how working together could benefit them too.
Right. It wasn't just about compromise, but framing things so everyone won.
Okay.
For example, when he wanted to make alliances with other powerful European nations, he didn't just talk about peace and unity.
Yeah.
He talked about stuff that mattered to them, like access to resources, trade routes, better security. Every nation had its own goals and weaknesses. Bismarck was brilliant at understanding that and tailoring his proposals. Supporting his vision for a unified Germany ended up helping them achieve their own goals, too.
That's fascinating. So he wasn't just power hungry, he was a strategic thinker. He knew lasting power came from building relationships where everyone benefits.
Exactly. He made it so that supporting his vision was also good for them.
And this principle, it doesn't just apply to politics, right?
No, not at all. It's just as powerful in the business world.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Take Elon Musk, for example.
Ah, Elon Musk, the guy with the big ideas.
You know, SpaceX, Tesla, all that. But how does he get the money and support to make these crazy dreams happen?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not afraid to aim high. But how does he convince investors and governments to buy into his vision?
Well, Musk is great at inspiring people with these grand ideas like colonizing Mars and clean energy.
Yeah.
But He's also a master at appealing to more tangible benefits.
Okay, so he understands that investors and governments need to see more than just a dream. They need to see the practical value,
That's
like
what,
what's in it for them.
right.
So what are some examples of that?
When he pitches SpaceX, he emphasizes the economic growth, the jobs it will create, and how it will make us leaders in technology. With Tesla, he talks about sustainable energy, getting off oil, and of course, how much money they can make.
Hmm.
He doesn't just present his companies as innovative. He presents them as drivers of economic growth and technological advancement, appealing directly to what his stakeholders care about.
So he's aligning his big visionary goals with the practical motivations of those who have the resources and power.
Exactly. It's not about abandoning your ideals. It's about framing them in a way that makes sense to others, showing them that supporting your vision isn't just good for humanity, it's good for business.
And this approach, it's been pretty effective, hasn't it?
Oh, incredibly. Musk has gotten billions in funding and support from governments and individuals worldwide.
Wow.
He gets that to change the world, you need to create a system where supporting your vision benefits everyone involved.
This is amazing. It seems like this Law 13 is everywhere, from history to our everyday lives. But before we go too far, let's take a break. I'm sure our listeners need a moment to digest all of this.
Good point. We'll be back soon to explore even more facets of Law 13 and how you can use it in your own life.
Welcome back. I don't know about you, but I'm still thinking about all the ways we can use Law 13.
Yeah, it really shows how powerful understanding human motivation can be.
Right. Like we all have things we want, goals, fears.
And getting that's the key to figuring out how to interact with people effectively.
Okay, so we've seen how appealing to self-interest can help us get what we want. But, and I don't know if you feel this way, it still feels a bit, well, manipulative, you know?
I get it. The idea of appealing to self-interest can seem a little iffy, ethically, if we're not careful.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be about, like, tricking people or taking advantage. Think of it this way. Good communication often involves understanding who you're talking to, tailoring your message to their needs and interests. And that's what Law 13 is really about, framing your request so they line up with what the other person wants.
Okay, so it's not about getting people to do what I want. It's about finding that common ground, that win-win.
Exactly. It's recognizing that we all have something to offer, something to gain. And when you start from that place, it becomes less about using people and more about building those partnerships where both sides benefit, like the examples we've been talking about.
Right. Galileo, Bismarck, Elon Musk, they did amazing things by linking their vision to what others wanted.
Exactly. So how do we make sure we're using this ethically? How do we strike that balance between strategy and genuineness?
That's a great question.
The answer is authenticity. You can't just pretend to care about someone's self-interest and then turn around and try to use them. It has to be real.
Okay.
You have to genuinely believe that what you're proposing benefits both of you. If you go in with the manipulative mindset, it'll show. And that trust, that credibility you built, it's gone.
So it's about being mindful of my intentions.
Exactly.
If I'm just thinking about what I can get out of it, it's probably going to backfire. But if I truly believe it's a win-win, that's going to come across, and the other person will be more likely to get on board.
Exactly. It's not about playing games where someone loses.
Right.
It's about recognizing that working together, cooperating, leads to better outcomes than trying to outsmart or manipulate each other.
Okay, this is really changing how I think about my interactions, both at work and in my personal life. It's shifting from what can I get to what can we achieve together. But are there any specific things I can do to use Law 13 well without being unethical?
Absolutely. One of the most important things is to really understand the person you're dealing with. Research them.
Okay.
What are their goals, values, fears? What are they passionate about? The more you know about them, the better you'll be able to present your request in a way that speaks to their self-interest.
So there's no one right way to do it. I have to tailor my approach to each person and situation.
Exactly. You have to meet them where they are, speak their language. And another key is to be specific. Don't just make vague promises about benefits.
Okay.
Spell out exactly how helping you will help them reach their goals. Give concrete examples, data, evidence.
So instead of saying, this will be great for your career, tell us, I should say something like, by working on this with me, you'll get to show off your expertise in X, which will help you get that promotion you've been wanting.
Yes. The more specific and tangible you can make those benefits, the stronger your argument will be.
Wow, this is really eye-opening. It's like I'm learning this whole new language, the language of persuasion. But what about situations where it seems like there's no overlap between my needs and the other person's self-interest? What if they're driven by totally different things?
That's when things get really interesting.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to dig a little deeper, get creative to find those hidden points of agreement. Be willing to try different approaches.
Can you give me an example? Say, I'm trying to get funding for a project that's really important to me, but the investors, they're all about profit. They don't share my passion for the cause.
That happens a lot, especially with projects that have a social or environmental impact.
Yeah.
In those cases, you have to reframe your pitch, highlight the financial benefits alongside the good it does.
Okay.
For example, you could talk about the growing demand for sustainable and ethical products and services. Show them how your project fits into those trends and consumer preferences. You're proving that investing in your vision isn't just the right thing to do, it's also a smart business move.
So I'm connecting their desire to make money with my desire to make a positive impact.
Exactly. It's a win-win where everyone benefits. You're showing them that doing good and doing well, they're not mutually exclusive. In fact, they can support each other.
This is making me realize that using Law 13 effectively, it's both an art and a science.
Definitely.
It takes empathy, creativity, and a real desire to make things better for everyone involved.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's about understanding human nature and using that to build connections, make alliances, and achieve great things together.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of power and persuasion, but I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Let's give our listeners a chance to process all this amazing information and come back for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll wrap everything up and give you some practical things you can start using in your own life right away.
And we're back. Ready for the last part of our dive into Law 13. It's been pretty fascinating, right? Seeing how understanding self-interest could be such a powerful tool, not just for getting what you want, but for building real relationships.
Totally. We've seen how everyone from Galileo to Bismarck to Elon Musk to Spielberg, they all use this principle to do incredible things.
We've also talked about using this law ethically, right? It shouldn't be about taking advantage of people, but about creating situations where everyone wins.
Absolutely. It's about those win-win scenarios where everyone feels good about the outcome. So, as we wrap up, let's break down Law 13 into some key takeaways you can start using today.
The first thing to remember, people are driven by what's good for them. It's just human nature. It's not cynical, it's realistic.
Right.
So next time you need help, skip the guilt trips. Forget pleading for mercy.
Yeah.
Put yourself in their shoes. Ask what's in it for them.
It's such a simple shift in perspective. You're not just focused on your needs, you're thinking about what they want.
Exactly. And once you get that, you can frame your request so it fits with their goals. And be specific. Don't just make vague promises.
Yeah.
Spell out how helping you will help them get what they want, whether it's a promotion, more money, or just the feeling of making a difference.
The clearer you make those benefits, the more likely they are to say yes.
For sure. And remember, be genuine. People can smell a fake a mile away. So be real, build that connection, show them you appreciate their help.
It's about building bridges, not burning them.
Right.
Moving away from those you owe me interactions to something where we both feel good about it.
That's it. It's about collaboration, partnership. And lastly, remember that getting good at Law 13, it takes practice.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Keep learning about people, how to communicate effectively, and finding those creative ways to align your goals with theirs.
I feel like I have a whole new set of tools now to navigate these situations and achieve my goals in a way that feels right. It's been an amazing journey. Thank you so much for being here.
It's been a pleasure. And to everyone listening, keep those strategic minds working. There are so many opportunities out there for those who know how to persuade and create those win-win situations.
That's it for our dip dive on Law 13. Until next time, stay powerful and stay ethical.